Welcome to the Pondcast, where today's episode, Regional Remix, Gen 7 for PLZA. Welcome to the Deep End, our captivating discussion series where we dive into the depths of the current Pokemon news and theories, and today we're going to be talking about what Pokemon we would love to see return in PLZA, but as a regional variant.
We're back, a Pokemon story.
So we've been kicking around some ideas of things that we're hoping to see in the new PLZA game. And of course, in the last game, they did bring in some regional variants, as the game did take place in the past, and you got such great Pokemon like Ursaluna, who had an evolution of Ursaring, but then you also had Sneasler, who was a regional variant, and you had the Quillfish line, which not only was a variant, but was also got a regional evolution. And so we were kicking around ideas of what Pokemon we would love to see come into the Gen 6 decks under the PLZA, but in a new format. And so let's dive into this.
We're going to Kalos, which is all about beauty, and beauty leads into fashion. And there's a few Pokemon. We've been introduced to Furfrou already that is all about being able to change its look. Well, there's another shy little Pokemon that likes to change up its look and has great sewing skills. And in Kalos, where it's going to have access to other fancy fabrics and everything, I think it'd be great to see a regional variant, or even just the ability to change the outfit for a Mimikyu, giving it little fluffy little outfits, or even little tough things, maybe even adding to the crafting where you can get other fabrics and allow unlocking different patterns that your Mimikyu can wear. I think this would be actually incredible, and it would add a personalization factor well beyond even the shiny. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's a very fancy idea. You know, I just thought of a funny meme. Mimikyu is that meme with like, "Hello, what's up, fellow kids?" So it's trying to fit in with everybody with, like, you know, the fancy outfits and stuff. So that's what I'm seeing right now, honestly. So I think it works really well because, you know, it wants to be loved. It wants to be just as popular as Pikachu. So, you know, it makes sense if it can get like some like different outfit variations.
I wanna take this a step further. I love this idea. I think it's a great idea, but I want to take it one step further. Every generation, there's always that one standout Pokemon, right? That low level first stage Pokemon that everyone seems to gravitate towards for a generation. Could you imagine if we took your concept of the different clothing and styles, but instead of it being like different fashionable palettes, it's mimicking different Pokemon from different generations, and you get to choose which one based on that. You still get the disguise, it still looks like, you know, like a put together costume piece, and it's still in line with what Mimikyu does, but instead you now have the options of being like a Bulbasaur or a Turtwig or something along those lines of other popular Pokemon that have come around through the years.
You just made my head light up with the idea, like, every year they do the poll to see the most popular Pokemon around the world or different regions, and it'd be an awesome way to continue what your idea is every year by releasing the top spot as a Mimikyu costume.
I mean, my wife has a Mimikyu Scarecrow, and it kind of gave me that idea of like, what if you did this, but you did this with a random cute Pokemon from each generation? You know, just like Furfrou has the different hairstyles. It would just be a texture overlay. The mon in itself mechanically would still work, but this is only something that's available in PLZA or in a Gen 6 region moving forward. You know, just the ability of swapping it out. Unless it's something that they decide, this is a really interesting idea, let's perpetuate this. But I do like this thought. I do really like I like where you went with this, and it is such a great idea because it would give so much character to an already adorable and well-loved Pokemon.
I do like the idea too of like if they actually did like polls on it, and then they actually made that new outfit after listening to like the fans' votes and stuff. I think that'd be pretty cool. Because like now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, what if we had a Greninja costume Mimikyu then? And then more specifically, they can go into Ash Greninja Mimikyu, you know? I think that'd be kind of cool.
It's just
They
this little
could just-
chibi-fied Greninja costume.
Yeah, with the eyes too, right? I think the eyes would make a lot of
Yeah.
sense too. Looking at the Mimikyu costume eyes, and then they could just release it as like what, maybe like a Pokemon Home or just some kind of like release thing or like an event mon that people can, right? That'd be kind of cool too.
Yeah. Kind of like cosplay Pikachu.
Yeah, that's where I was gonna go. I'm surprised it doesn't exist in Pokemon Go to some capacity. They love putting things in fancy hats.
Yeah, they do. Oh my god, they do.
Yeah, like the new one coming out for Worlds, the Snorkel Pikachu.
The Snorkel Pikachu.
I think it's the Snorkel one, anyways. I forgot.
Is that what happens when surfing Pikachu fails?
Probably.
No, when Surfing Pikachu fails, there's a fish fry. So if you like what you're hearing, please be sure to share, like, subscribe. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you want to see from a Gen 7 Pokemon coming into a PLZA regional variant. And let's keep going.
And if you ever want to discuss more, why don't you come join us on the Discord channel?
So for me, like after thinking about it, I'm going with Turtonator. Actually, because honestly speaking, now that I think about it too, I like Turtonator a lot. Like it's not like the best looking like Alola Pokemon to come out of Alola, but like the more I use it and look at it, it's like, you know what, Fire Dragon type. I like this. So now I want to see it in like this Kalos game coming out for Legends ZA, right? Like maybe it'll get like some kind of regional variant where maybe it loses its Fire typing, or heck, it could even lose a Dragon typing, I think. But let's for this video's sake, we'll just say it's losing the Fire typing. I can see it becoming like another Dragon Steel type, or it could be like a Dragon Poison type with like the whole like urban development thing. Maybe there's like some new stuff. Actually, even Dragon Rock type would probably work too, honestly. It might work. Dragon Rock. Yeah. But I'm gonna stick with Dragon Poison on this one. Industries, like they're rebuilding the city kind of thing, some new stuff popping out, and like maybe this is something like you could probably find like the other devs. But that's where I was going with it. And then it could also have like that explosive Mind Trap. But in this case, I guess because it's a poison type, it's a poisonous Mind Trap instead.
I'm actually going to take that, and instead of it losing the Fire type in terms of the development, I think it would lose the Dragon type because it becomes a little bit more domesticated. And I could definitely see it being used for demolitions and reshaping in this new development. So it's kind of a little bit more chill. Maybe it's a Fire Rock type now instead of Fire Ground because it's used to like munching on cement, something along those lines. So it's a little bit less vicious, but it's still very much its explosive personality self.
You know, with the redevelopment thing, I would actually gone with Fire Steel when you think about it, because they're in that age where they're using metals to construct. And, you know, if it was a Fire Steel type used for demolition, like you were saying, it would have that nice hardy defense so that it wouldn't get hurt during demolition processes. So for me, like I in my head, I kind of see it more of a Fire Steel type. But I do love where you guys had gone with this on this one, because I don't think Turtonator got a lot of love. I mean, he only shows up one time and then they kind of forgot about him.
Yeah. Move over, Med Cargo, if you're a Fire Rock type. Heatran. Oh, okay, maybe not Heatran. I think Heatran probably. It's got Flash Fire, so.
It's not a bad thought overall. Like, I don't know about any French turtles, but I'm also not very well versed in the French culture and region. So for all I know, they've got this, you know, smoking snapping turtle. Americans.
Oh my god, Turtonator with those like handlebar mustaches, please.
With a beret.
With a beret. Oh, it does have a hat. It can't have a beret. I think it could turn into a beret.
That could be an interesting idea with the bringing it back to Guren's Poison Dragon thing, is maybe it's just a big ashtray.
A big ashtray. Okay.
It's a very stereotypical thing, though. I mean, at least over here in the States.
We could also go with the graphite approach, too. Like, maybe it's a painter. Now that we're talking about berets, it's a painter. It just shoots it out of its nostril mouth thing.
I like that thought.
Painted out.
I like that thought. So for me, I was actually thinking, you know, it would be great to see Minior come back. They brought Minior back for the DLC, but there was
Mm.
such a missed opportunity with Minior that when you think about it, what is it exactly? It's a meteorite, right?
Mm.
Well, what kinds of meteorites are there? There's ice, there's steel, there's there's all you could have made Minior have subtyping depending on when you crack that shell. But I don't know how possible it would be to assign a typing based on the color of the Minior inside without having to break it. But could you just think of but with the Switch and the Switch 2 coming out and future prospects, could you just imagine you go battle a Minior and you crack that outer shell and all of a sudden it's a completely different typing on the inside. So one might be fire, one might be ice, one might be steel, one might be just straight up rock, but keep it in theme for the meteors.
So one of the ideas is, instead of when it's cracked open, what if it's where you caught it? So it could be a different, whether it's a comet, meteor, meteorite, etc. So if you caught it during a sky battle, for instance, maybe that's still going to be a flying rock, or you could have it different types. If you caught it after it already broke into the water while you're surfing, that's going to be the ice type, more like a comet. Where if you get it on the round, it's on the ground, it's going to be like maybe a ground rock because it's already hit, cooled off, and chilling. Or it might be fire ground because it still has some of the heat. But I think the idea of it being the different phase of where it is and how it changes its name, the whole astrological event changes what it is depending on where it is, whether it's still in space, whether it's in the atmosphere, broken through the atmosphere, or is impacted on the ground. And you could demonstrate that all through Minior. Another good example is, I believe, Birdkeeper Toby's Pokemon, the Slimpia region, had an example of this where Pokemon would very much change its typing as it evolved because it started off as one form and turned into these other phases.
So it's keeping the rock typing. That's what we're saying, though, or that's what we're agreeing on, kind of thing. Like it keeps the rock typing, and like the secondary, like flying, changes into like the other typings.
The types to what we want here.
Yeah,
because I do like that kind of thing too, because like I feel like it makes sense. Like it's because like Minior is literally, like, I guess at this point it literally is a Pokemon from outer space, right? So it's like it's coming into this world, or into the Pokemon world, and wherever it's landing, it's that's what's going to make it or break the type that it's going to end up with. I think that would be really interesting, so that it's not just stuck as a rock flying type. The other idea I thought of was maybe it does keep the rock flying type, and then like when it does break open, in that case, then that's when you find out like it loses its flying typing, and then it becomes like whatever that other type is, dependent on like wherever it landed, kind of thing. So I mean, it'd be kind of trippy, it's like, oh, first it's a rock flying type, oh nope, cracked shield's down, now it is a rock fire type. Goodbye ice type.
That would actually kind of combine the shield down ability with the Wormadon mechanic. Because remember, not the Wormadon, I'm sorry, but the pre-evolution forms, the Burmy, depending on your last battle of where you had Burmy, will change the camouflage, and when it evolves, its typing is now permanent into whatever that camouflage was. So like City would be a steel type, I think the Forest would make it a grass type, and forget what the other one was. It's been a while since I've seen this one come in, but I mean that kind of a treatment would work then with in this case.
Okay. And how can you not go collecting Miniors? Aren't they adorable?
And with that brings this episode to a close. What did you think about our ideas of regional variant Pokemon for Gen 7? Let us know down below. And thanks, X, for joining us today.
Always a pleasure.
And as always, have a wonderful day. Bye.
Bye.
Leaving now?
Yes.
No, don't leave me.
A rebirder chief.
Bye.